everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to be talking about how we take photos. The main reason I wanted to come on was to do a revision of how I use the Fotofuze app, because since I have made a video about it last, there have been some updates that have made life a lot easier, and also our photo process has changed. In the past, I would say just 3 months, our photo process has changed significantly. Honestly, it will probably change again. I'm really trying to nail down what is the most efficient way to take photos, what's the fastest way to take photos, and what's going to give us a result that's good enough where customers are going to want to buy our products. All of this to say that I'm currently going to talk to you guys about what our current photo process is, but just know that that could change. Again, because it's changed a lot in the last few months, but I'm going to show you what we are currently doing. So you can probably see the photo setup behind me. Most of these products are listed in the description of my videos. This is the lighting setup. It is by Limo Studio. I've had these, you can see they're kind of a little bent, but they still do the trick. I have had these for probably like three years, maybe coming on 4 years now. So that's why they're a little bent, but they still do the trick. If you buy yours won't look like this, but I do have a lighting kit. The reason for that is because I want to be able to photograph at all times of the day. I bought this back when I was still working a corporate job, and so if I worked, into the evening, I did not have enough daylight to take photos, so I got these so I could work at all hours of the night, and honestly, the best investment. Yeah, I use it, it works great. The only adjustment that I have made since I purchased mine, although I think they come with it now, is I bought brighter daylight bulbs. I think having cool tone bulbs makes the biggest difference. So we've got that. We have a command hook on the wall. The wall is like an off-white color. It does have a couple of like dings in it, but it doesn't really matter because we use a background remover. And also the photos that we don't use a background remover for, you can't really see those things in the wall anyways, and it doesn't really matter. Over here, I have a kind of softbox area that I created for myself for photographing things like shoes. And we just have, I don't know if you guys can see, I'll take you over here. There we go. I just bought these foam boards from the Dollar Tree. They were $1 each, so I have 2 white and then 2 black. The black ones are for white items because they blur out. And then this is a dual-headed ring light. I don't have that linked in the description, but I will put it down there for this video. It is, I'm not gonna lie, it's not like super sturdy high quality, but it does the trick for what I need, and I basically just pull that over and turn them on when I need to take photos of shoes, and it works really nicely. So when I'm getting ready to take photos, I've got a clothing rack which has all matching wood hangers, pants, and just regular shirt hangers, also linked in the description. And I also have mannequins in the back. If for some reason something needs more shape, I will use those, but typically they're just going on hangers in bulk. And then this rack does roll around, so I'll basically roll it like you see here, right behind the photo setup here. That way I am reducing the amount I'm walking back and forth. Do is grab stuff off of this rack and then put it over here. Take all of my photos of the garment itself, no tags or anything like that. And then we are currently putting measurements and also the weight of the item into our photos. That way I can have somebody create the drafts without actually having the product there. So they are looking simply at photos and creating the draft, which means we need to have all of the information there for them. So we'll take the photos right behind me, and then I will come immediately behind me to this table right here. We have basically things to measure and lay them down. So we'll lay that down flat, do some flat lay measurements, and then we will also come over here and take a photo of how much the item actually weighs. So there's plastic bags right there. So we actually fold it, put it into that plastic bag to get ready for shipment, weigh the item, take a photo of measurements. We use the box if we do think that something is going to end up going into a box, like a heavy coat or something like that. That way the weight is already set forth. So the box weight will be included in the weight, if that makes any sense. And then they end up down here, ready to go in their batches, ready to be listed and get an inventory number and be put away. Besides all of that, the only additional things that we use are a mini steamer. Most of the items I get are already in a position where they can go ahead and be listed, but if they need to be steamed, I do have a mini steamer, a lint roller, and then one of the most important tools in our business is this lanyard right here. There are multiple different brands. The one I use, again, is down below. This is called Gear Beast, that's the brand. And it's basically just a very stretchy lanyard, which you can put your phone in. And I use this every time I take pictures because it makes things so much more efficient. So instead of having to put your phone in your pocket or set it down on a surface and then keep going back and forth, you basically take the picture and you can just drop it and keep going whenever you need to pick it up. Really convenient. And I know it sounds like, Cayley, are you really trying to save like 10 seconds each item? And yes, I am. If we are photographing 100 items and it's 10 seconds per item, how to do some calculating there. So 10 seconds at 100 items would be 1,000 seconds divided by 60 to get the minutes. That is almost 17 minutes that we'd be saving per batch each week just from walking around and grabbing the phone again, setting it down, walking to go get it again. I know that that seems like a small amount, but those seconds really add up. And if you think about it, you know, if you can do, let's just say a realistic number, it takes you 3 minutes to do this whole process, then that 15-ish minutes, you would have gotten 5 more items done. So that'd be 5 more items a week. Those are the little things that I really look for to make my business more efficient and make better use of the time we have. So this is a huge lifesaver. If you don't already have one of these, I would get you one. They're really cheap, and again, they save you a lot of time. That's our current photo setup. I am going to get to photographing a few of these items, and then I'll show you how I use PhotoFuse to white out the background. I used to edit every single photo, and currently we have switched to only editing the first photo, the main photo that the buyer sees in the thumbnail of these apps like eBay and Poshmark, so that they'll click into it. And then everything else is natural lighting and just the way we take the picture. Since I have changed that model, I have not noticed a significant difference. And so that tells me that the buyers don't really care. But I do want to have, for SEO purposes, a very crisp white background in my main photo. That way it does get pulled for Google searches, and also, again, just so the buyer clicks into it, but the rest of the photos are natural at this point. So I'm gonna get to taking some photos, and then I will show you guys how I edit using PhotoFuse and some of the settings that you can tinker around with on the free version to make your life a lot easier and to be more efficient.
Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
photos. I don't know if you guys could tell because it'll be kind of like a time lapse, so this video isn't forever. But while I was taking photos, I just want to say I make mistakes all the time, guys. I never want to have this facade that I'm perfect or that I'm trying to be perfect or that you should aim to be perfect. You're gonna make mistakes. That's just part of life. So 2 of those items that I photographed, which is a lot for that small batch that I was doing, I noticed after taking photos had flaws. So I had to delete those photos, take time to go and deal with those and put them in spots where they can go to be washed and or thrown away. So that was one area of inefficiency. Another one that I noticed while filming this was that I really just need to take that table, normally I do, but I forgot for this video, but pull it as close as I can to the area that I am taking photographs in. That way I can just turn right around and do those measurements. Another inefficiency, there's more, is that when I go to take measurements on the table, this method works fine where the tape is lying across until the whole garment is too big and covers up that tape, and then I have to take another tape measure and put it on top of it. I don't know if you guys could tell that in the video. I did try to order the reseller ruler, which is basically like a cross of yardsticks essentially. It came broken, and I have tried to reach out to get a refund or get a replacement, and I haven't heard back. So it's been a couple weeks. I'm very disappointed in that. But instead of purchasing directly from the reseller ruler, I might just try to make my own, because with that ruler being across and adjustable, you can basically take 2 measurements at once, which normally I can get doing this. However, like I said, if it covers up the entire tape, then I have to lay one over top anyway. So that's something I'm working out. If you have any suggestions, drop them down below. And then the last inefficiency that I noticed was I currently have a battery powered scale right here. And it turns off after, like, I don't even know how many seconds, but usually I am not quick enough to get to it before it turns off. So I'm having to get it to turn on and then wait for it to reset again so that I can take my picture of the weight. That is a huge inefficiency. Again, seconds add up. So I either need to get a plug-in scale, which I don't think I'm gonna do because I feel like the cords and everything would be too much and wouldn't reach far enough, or I need to actually get a scale where I actually, before I purchase it, check the timeout amount. I need to know how many seconds it's going to give me before it powers off. Again, I know that is such a tiny little detail, but those seconds really add up. So those were some of the inefficiencies that I noticed while I was photographing that very small batch. If you guys notice any inefficiencies or if you have any tips, please let me know down below. If your process is different than mine, let me know. Again, we are ever evolving and we're open to new ideas. All right, so I have taken all of those photos. I am going to do a quick screen record. Okay, so I am opening up PhotoFuse. You guys can see where I PhotoFuse the background to make one of those thumbnails for the last one. I'm gonna go ahead and just delete some of these. Delete all of those, that way we can start fresh. And then I need to go to my gallery. So in my gallery, I'll just really quickly show you kind of the process that I take the photos. And so I take the front, I take any details. This was a pretty basic shirt. I took an up close here so they could see the plaid pattern and the colors, the back. And then once I get to the table, we take a photo of the brand, the size, and then also the material, which for this top was all on the same one, so that saved me a little bit of time. Then I take the measurements, and you can see here buyers should be able to calculate based on the way I've laid that tape measure down, what the pit to pit and what the length is. And then we also took a photo of the weight of the item. So that's kind of my photo process. Now we're gonna go into PhotoFuse, and we're actually going to grab some of these items. Now, what I wanted to show you guys was if you hit this FF up here, it's going to give you your settings. So click settings. And what you really want to look at is this, I'll circle it, this auto download to photo gallery. You want to make sure that this is completely set. So if that's off, you're going to want to turn that on, because what that means is as each of your photos fuse, it's going to automatically put them into the gallery on your phone. If you don't have this checked, then what's going to happen is you have to go and click each individual one to download it, which I'll show you here in a second. But so you're going to want to make sure that you have that checked. Okay. This again is the free version. You can see down here, there is a paid version. I've never used it. It's supposed to apparently be faster, but I have seriously not really had any issues with PhotoFuse. The nice thing is, for speed purposes, while one is fusing, you can move on to the next one. So I am just going to start editing each of my first photos of each item for the main photo. So I'm going to click here, go to photos. You can see here is all of the photos that I took. So I am just going to click on the first one. Now this one is actually a reversible. So I will choose the one that I want to use for the thumbnail. We'll fuse it. And as you can see, as that's uploading, you can move on. Here's a pair of jeans. Now what I like to do, you can draw your own. So this is the difference of the last video that I did. You can also erase and manually do it, or you can click this auto, point to it here. This is your best friend. So I no longer use all this manual stuff unless I need to make edits. So if you just hit auto, it's going to automatically detect everything for you. And again, you can adjust as needed, and then you're going to want to hit finish and it will start to fuse for you. And so what I like to do is just go through, and while the other one's fusing, I just auto fuse, and I'm basically clicking auto, clicking finish, moving on to the next one. And you can see how quickly I can get this done. One of the things I want to say about PhotoFuse is when you have a lighter colored item, if it has other things with it, like this one has the striping detail, it can most generally detect the shape of the item. However, if it is a completely white item, it's very hard for it to detect. And so usually I won't do a white background. I'll just manually change the brightness and the contrast in the actual, not the eBay app, but the website itself. Or you can also put this on a dark background, and it is supposed to, that's why I have the black boards for the shoes. It should turn the background to black. It can be a little finicky, but if you can get it to work, it looks beautiful. I'll insert a photo up here of like what it looks like if you have a pure white item with a black background. But for clothing, I don't really have anything that is a pure black background, and I don't really want to like go back and forth over here like putting up, you know, a backdrop or whatever. So we just basically leave those photos as is and call it a wash. But I'll show you guys for this one, this Athleta sweater. I'll keep going, but we'll go back and look at it. It should fuse. Same thing with these light colored shorts. As long as it auto detects them, most of the time it turns out okay. But if not, I just upload them regularly onto eBay and call it a day. Okay, so those are all my photos for the day. And then if I go into my gallery, then I will see all of these fused ones at the top here, as you can see, and see those lighter colored photos. They did turn out okay, again, because there's things for it to grab onto. But if it was a completely white item, I would suggest not using PhotoFuse unless you have a black background for something. I do that a lot with shoes, but for clothing, I basically just take the photo and adjust the brightness. And so from here, I will just upload all of those photos on over to eBay. And then from there, I cross-post everything onto Poshmark, Mercari, sometimes Depop, and other places. I hope that was helpful. So that is how I use PhotoFuse. Again, the new things with that app versus the previous video is that they have the auto feature now. So you can basically go click, click, move on to your next item, click, click, move on to your next item. It's perfect. I've never tried, again, the pro version. Maybe I should, just to test it out and see what the differences are, but the free version works perfectly for me. And I love a free app. I'm sure you guys too. I have tried doing Photo Room. I personally think this is faster, but maybe that's just because I'm used to the motions and everything. But that is how we take our photos, measurements, weight, and then also edit the first photo to get that perfect white background. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up on your way out if you enjoyed these videos. That way I know to continue making ones like this. Also, if you're not already and you would like to be, subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you guys get notified as new content goes live. If you guys have any suggestions on my photo process, I am totally open to hearing those. Drop those in the comments down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.